Okay, we're okay. Let me. I'm not even gonna run the intro because, well, I don't know if I should or not. It always messes up. Yeah. Hey guys, we're live. So, hey, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. Sorry about the delay, guys. It's always something. By the way, all right, yeah, I'm excited to have my guest tonight. I was going to complain about StreamYard, but there's no reason to complain about them. I'm just going to let it go by, and yeah. But I have my good friend Kat with me. Kat's a native Pittsburgher like myself, or I think she's a native Pittsburgher. Maybe she's from somewhere, and then she moved here. I can't remember.
I moved here. Yeah.
She's returning tonight for a live night of tarot, audience call-ins, and a deep discussion on the pagan origins of Samhain, its cultural traditions, and the alchemy of art and shadow. Kat is an art, a mystic, and a fire gazer whose mixed media creations are portals into myth, illness, and ancestral memory. Her work channels old gods, pagan spirits, and dream wisdom, guiding others through shadow integration and creative healing. She's a winner of art awards, and she's published art across wellness spaces and art museums and stuff like that. Kat returns to bring her own unique creative magic and psychic insight to the community for this Halloween special where the sacred meets the supernatural. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Kat, thanks for coming back on. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you having me back on.
Yeah. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Recently joined or been more active on TikTok, and that's been going great. Found a great art community on there and have connected with a lot of artists, have been doing collaborations. I'm getting my website back up and running. So I have print available over on TikTok, and I'm getting the Shopify available right now while I work on my my website. But so it's been a good adventure so far.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I saw your one painting. That was really dope. That painting of what was it? Baba Yaga's house.
Baba Yaga.
Something like. Can you tell it?
Yeah, I recently did a Baba
Yaga. Yeah, that was really dope. I like that.
I really enjoy Baba Yaga's lore. She's one of those that was meant to teach lessons So you go to Baba Yaga. She's much like Ursula from The Little Mermaid. You go to Baba Yaga asking for something. She asks normally for something ridiculous, and people being in desperation will agree. But then when the time comes to make payment, they don't want to. And then at which point she cooks them and eats them, and your bones become decorations. But it's meant to serve not so much to demonize her, but to have you be accountable for what you've agreed to, and to not take deals from strangers that sound too good to be true. And also not to make deals in general if you don't think you're going to be able to follow through. So, somebody's asking for your firstborn to bring your dead husband back. Maybe just don't, you know what I mean? So I just really have always enjoyed her lore and her house that has chicken legs. So yeah, I did a rendition of that here recently. I did post that on my YouTube channel, which KatMonsterArts for everybody. Same on TikTok. And right now I'm working on a piece that we've called The Watching Queen, which is a bit more of a darker piece, but I'm really enjoying the process of it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like, how did you get into all this? Like, I don't know if you ever, for the new people that might be watching,
I've always been attracted to more of the creepier side of things, and I call my art my colorful creepies because a lot of times they're very colorful, but they all touch on darker subjects for the most part. Now I do paint some lighter stuff, especially if I'm in a really bad mood. I'll do more Bob Ross type things or personified animals. But all in all, my stuff's pretty creepy. Paganism I got into when I was 12 because I was very indoctrinated into the church. I wasn't agreeing with the hypocrisy that I saw. And a friend of mine, her whole family was Wiccan. So I started looking at some of her sister's books, and it just made more sense to me. I was being able to connect with nature. I think that we are not put on this earth to rule over the planet, but to be part of the planet and its keepers. And that just kind of made more sense with me, and I connected more with the older gods, and being able to pick and choose my god for, you know, different things that I need, or just who comes to me in my dreams, who's reaching out to me, you know, that sort of thing. That really helps me to just feel a little more connected than having some omnipotent being that's supposed to be watching over me that I don't really connect with. So that's how I got into it. And besides, like, paganism is not satanic. You know, we're not Satan worshipers. That's a Christian god. And I just found it to be a very loving religion.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. And did you want to talk a little bit about before we get into readings tonight? You wanted to talk about like a little bit about the origins of it and stuff, right?
Yeah, the origins of Samhain, since we are coming up on Halloween. Halloween is an adaptation of the original Celtic holiday of Samhain, which marked the end of the summer harvests and the beginning of the winter months. It's technically the Celtic New Year. They had the traditions. It came over from Ireland, and most of this came over when the Ireland immigrants came over with the potato famines and that in the late 17 to 1800s. So there's things like carving out the pumpkins. Those were typically turnips, and with pumpkins being a new world item, because it did not exist before we came to the Americas, at least in the rest of the world. Much easier to carve, right? And then trying to carve out a turnip. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to even cut into a turnip. They're really hard. But you cut those out and you have more of the jack-o'-lantern thing. You put a light in it. It is the day when the veil between life and death is thinner. And so you are to honor your ancestors. Doing things like the dumb dinner or the silent dinner, where you have a dinner laid out. You set a plate for your loved ones who have passed, and you're in silence the entire time, just remembering them and honoring their memory. And then you take the plate and you put it outside to offer to the ghosts that are walking around outside. With that comes the traditions of dressing up. Typically, in old times, it was animal skins and face masks to kind of disguise yourself so that the spirits would leave you alone. In the 1930s here in America, it took more of a commercial turn, but that was kind of out of necessity. Previous to that, it was a bit of mayhem where there was a lot of tricking and not so much treating. Bonfires were set in the middle of towns, but a lot of times the kids of the town would go around taking wooden items off people's porches, stealing furniture to build these huge bonfires in the middle of town, because bonfires are something you are supposed to do during this time of year, or at least a fire in general, to bring the light, you know, back to a colder time of the year. And so in the 1930s, around the Depression era, they started implementing more commercialized items like candy and made masks to try to get it to swing into a more treat sort of situation and stop the egging of houses and the toilet paper and things like that. And that
I remember doing that when I was a kid.
Right. It carried on into
I was one of those kids, you know.
Yeah. I toilet papered somebody's house once, or a tree. It was a tree, with a bunch of friends, but you know, I didn't really egg anybody's house or their cars, because I knew that was going to eat up the paint, and I couldn't sit well with that. I was like,
when I was doing this, I was like 15 years old, and what we would do is we would get in the back of a pickup truck, you know, and like, because my friends had pickup trucks, and we would drive around and we'd just throw eggs at everybody. You know what I mean? It was like all what's the word I'm looking for? It was like no holds barred. You know what I mean? And I don't know why we did that. It didn't make sense. I would never do anything like that now. You know what I mean? Like, but like,
right.
You know, when you're a kid, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
When we're a kid, our reasoning skills aren't as sharp, you know. We don't have as much empathy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But-
so
but-
it became more commercialized, and in the 90s that kind of started even fading out with a lot of the mayhem and mischief being not so much, and it just being more around the treats and the decorating.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you'll see comments
And shaving cream.
You'll see
Cat
comments
Elsa shaving
on
cream.
the screen throughout the episode. I put them up. Like this one was from Kat. I did another woman whose name's Kat, and she says we carved a turnip one year for Samhain.
Never again.
Never again.
Right. So hard to do. A lot of times they just kind of gouged out a face into them, and they looked terrifying. If you just like gouge out eyes and try to like put a line across for the mouth, they're absolutely terrifying looking. It kind of looks like a shrunken head ish met like somebody trying to like really paper mache it. And I don't know. It's quite disturbing and very hard to do.
And then she followed up with like when you were talking. I'm sorry, she followed up with the shaving cream. Did you guys have the shaving cream when you were young too? Like you mentioned the toilet paper and the eggs. Shaving cream was another one, it seemed like.
I definitely saw that. My daddy would have had my hide had I taken his shaving cream. So that never happened. But I definitely saw other people do it. You know, they went to the dollar store and got shaving cream or whatever. But that wasn't something I personally did.
Yeah. Before we get into like the traditions of the old gods and stuff, because I want to get into that. But like, do you have any like interesting memories of like around this time of like Halloween or Samhain? Like, did you ever have anything crazy like paranormal happen or anything like that?
Not really. I've always just used it as a time of honoring. Went to bed pretty early, besides like when I was a kid and I went out trick-or-treating and things. We did some stuff when I was younger, like went to the Ozone in Texas, which was a pretty much abandoned town. I think like only 3 people still lived there. The rest of it was a ghost town. It had 1,001 lores about it. We went there one year and spooked ourselves, went to the graveyard to try to see the witch's grave to see if it really glowed. But as an adult, I haven't really. I've done the dumb dinner pretty much every year with roommates or by myself. I typically say prayers, put out my food, and go to bed pretty early, just in case, you know. And then if somebody wants to come talk to me in my dreams, I can do that. I have last year, I was going through that rough time with the breakup and everything else. And last year, I felt more connected, and I really felt like the presence of my grandmother was there. So I don't know. Anytime I feel like she's near, I just feel a hand, you know, here. And I just hold it and cry with her. But that's about the extent of it. I haven't had anything extraordinarily spooky, but I also don't go out and try to seek out any sort of thing. I do want to go on a ghost tour in Gettysburg, though. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that. I'd like to do that too. I'd like to go somewhere, or even somewhere around here in Pittsburgh. I'm sure
around here. Yeah. I would like to go on a not hokey, not Field of Screams type of ghost tour. That's what I would rather do. I don't like people coming after people sort of scaring. So, that's not great. Real quick, I see some of my friends in the chat. Hi, y'all. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I'm glad your friends came. That's awesome. Yeah. And you had a furry friend just walk up behind you when you were talking. Is that your cat or something?
Oh, Yuffie just came through, and possibly the cat. Yeah. He pops in and out. I currently have the back door, the screen locked, but the back door open, and his little one tree sitting in front of that with the storm window up, so he can get fresh air and look at the trees out back. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, nope, right there. That was my dog.
The audience loves their furry friends. They all love the animals. So that's why I figured. Yeah. But, so you often channel the old gods and the pagan spirits through your art. Are there any particular deities or archetypes that resonate more strongly with Samhain? would you say?
Hecate is definitely one of them. She's the keeper of the gateways in between the worlds. You could pray to Persephone during this time of the year if you would like. There's a male that I'm just not thinking of right now in one of the other pantheons that's not in my specific pantheon. If anybody knows, let me know. Hell. Hell is also one of them in the Norse that somebody had just said. In the Norse goddess Hell, which is one of Loki's kids.
And like in voodoo, Papa Legba is a big one, right? But he's more of like a dark god, I think. Like
yes, yeah. He is almost considered a trickster god because he does make deals, and he's similar to Baba Yaga, where he'll offer you your weight in gold, but he asks a steep price. And he's not in my pantheon. He is definitely somebody I like to learn about and honor, just like Oshun. But since I kind of keep to my ancestral lineage, which is very broad, but the like hoodoo and voodoo practitioners are not in that. Like I have some Levian and Egyptian blood, but not so much like any of the other African countries. It's more towards the like Middle Eastern stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then you mentioned Hecate. There's this guy I interviewed. His name's Sal Santoro. He has a place called the Crooked Path in California, and he has a shrine to Hecate when you go in. Like, he's always doing stuff on Instagram. He's a good follow if you guys like to follow people that are like
around here.
No, he's in California.
California. Okay.
I saw him on Coast to Coast. I listened to him on Coast to Coast, and I invited him on. And he's been into like witchcraft or Wicca since a long time. But he seems to like venerate Hecate a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's really good to work with as far as a lot of things, but she has to keep her secret doorways. She works well with divination, with sleep. Not thinking of the word when you read your dreams and that sort of thing. She's also feminine power. So if you just want somebody that's a feminine, she is a mothering type, not so much like Guan Yin, but still a watcher, and she loves dogs, whereas Freya is more with cats, So if you're really a dog person, she might be your somebody to add to your pantheon.
That's cool. Yeah. And I just wanted to give a shout out to your mom. Your mom's in the chat. She says here, she was saying before the show, she's like, is it on? It's your mom, your mother. So shout out to Kat's mom.
Hi, Mom.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay. So how can art and creative expression serve as a bridge to ancestral or unseen realms during this season, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. So you can incorporate art into shadow work at any time. And this is a good time to reflect on the past year, what your challenges were, what the things that you would like to overcome from your past, because you shouldn't hold on to trauma. You should not forget it. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, let it go. No, it's part of you. You shouldn't come into the room with your pain right here. It should be like at some point you need to go, okay, what are the lessons from this? What can I learn? How can I see these things to better serve me, to make me grow and become a better person, to where I can set my pain to the side and I have the lessons here. I approach with my boundaries, with, a healthy attitude, with not being able to freak out on stuff. You can go, hey, you've said something that really triggers what's going on in my past. So like, I'm going to need a second to calm down and resort things instead of just like freaking out on somebody. Right. So during this time, it's really helpful to reflect on that. I believe in adding artwork to a lot of shadow work. So You can draw it out if you want to do something similar to the childhood trauma piece I did, or like with my stomach monster or things like that. You can, but then you could also just do it in a symbolistic way where you can do sigils. You can, I'm sorry, my dog was over there. You can do sigils. You can just do color expression, trying to get your feelings out. Because if you don't know how to draw, like, say if somebody hurt you in one way or another and you are not good at drawing people, just draw it out in colors. How you're feeling. Like if you were sad and you were feeling more blues and purples, or even like a yellow for excitement, and then representing them in different colors and having it clash, that can help. And then underneath that, write down what you're feeling. Write down the things that you would like to release. All of the things that happen, all of the anger that you're holding on to, all of the grief that you're holding on to. And then within that as well, write down the forgiveness side of it. You forgive yourself for not being able to protect yourself at that time. You forgive your parents for not protecting you during that time. And then also within that, I typically write the things that I want to change, the things that I'll look at. So, in the past, I've had extreme rage issues because of being SA'd as a child and it not being handled well. So with that, I'm just like, I no longer want to have those rage issues. I no longer want to blame anybody else for what happened to me, for how it was handled afterwards, or, I don't want to hold that anger anymore, because it leaks out into other aspects of your life. You think you're fine, and then all of a sudden you're crying and raging over the fact that you dropped a butter knife in the kitchen, and it's just like, that shouldn't have triggered that, but it does because you were holding it in so much. So if you write all that down, get it all out, and then draw something over it to represent either the release or the happenings, write a sigil on it for protection, for love or an understanding. It really helps to incorporate that during this time of the year.
I love that. That's really cool. Someone from over in your channel made a crazy comment. I don't know if I should put it up. So I can tell this because it has a thing around it. But this, this person, she said a gerbil is trapped in my boyfriend's butt and can't get it out. Should he keep feeding it milk with a medicine drop, or just let it starve to death? That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious.
Should I keep feeding?
Dude, that's hilarious.
I did go to the ER, but I mean, if you can try to coax it out, maybe with some kibble. They like crackers.
That is so funny.
Don't stick animals in butts, guys. It's not healthy.
Anchor Haven, one of my Mars, she wanted to know if she said she loves to work with Kuan Yin, but she wants to know, do you ever work with Eileen? ELIN.
I have not. But now that you brought her up, I think I might want to research her more. I'm always up for researching religions and gods. I like learning about all religions and all gods. So if I'm introduced to one, like right now, that I have not heard before, I think I want to look into it. So I don't typically, I don't. And I do work with Guan Yin. She's definitely on my altar right next to Hecate. So, but I'll look into Eden because I want to know these things now. You have piqued my interest. Thank you for that.
We talked about this a little bit, but in your view, does shadow work tie into the mythic or magical traditions of the season?
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. Because you are supposed to reflect on the past year, your triumphs, your troubles, trials and tribulations, and then look at the new year coming up, because you will be going through a hard part of the winter. Even with us, with having central heat and access to warm clothes and access to food in the grocery store all the time. In the past, they didn't. So winters was really rough, and some people did not make it through them. Even now, there's cases where, people won't have heat on and don't have enough blankets to stay warm and that sort of thing. So it is a tough time coming up. So you don't want to hold on to a lot of your negative things, because you're going to go into a time where it's going to test you before you get to spring. And it's a really good time to clean out your closet. Like, clear your head, of the cobwebs and the nonsense. Congratulate yourself on the things that you have done, because you need to also look at the light when you do shadow work. It's not all about the shadow, it's also about the light that comes in, because they are equal parts. But so you look at your triumphs and then prepare for the new year so that you can take on the more challenging things that are to come. You can also try to prepare yourself for, say, if you're working through something that is not going to be able to work through in 1 or 2 sessions of shadow work. Depending on the type of trauma, it's really like deep seated, right? So it's not going to just uproot itself in one go around. Like, the roots run deep. You have to try hard to get through it. And maybe during the winter, when you're inside a lot, you can try to cry it out, try to get down there, try to figure out what drives that force and clear it out, so that in spring, that hole can be filled with soil and you can start growing flowers out of it.
I love that. That's a good point. And let me see here. I had more questions. Okay. Let me see here. And hold on. Sorry, I lost my place. Okay. And do you feel like fear itself is a portal? And when you face your fears, do you feel like that can lead to like deep transformation?
Yes, absolutely. That leads back to, so fear is very controlling, right? We see that in a lot of the world. You can drive people to wipe out another people because of fear and not understanding things. Fear can cause havoc in your life in so many ways. And if you're too scared to face the feelings that you have, you will keep boxing them up, and it'll be like a Russian doll set where it's just like you took these feelings of fear about a thing that happened, or what you think's going to happen, and stuffing it in a box, putting that in another box, stuff, all the way down until you're sitting on it, and then it starts popping up in weird ways where, like, agoraphobia could happen. Fear of going to certain places because you think, oh, well, maybe you had a traumatic happening there. Maybe there was a breakup. Maybe you saw somebody getting robbed. Maybe you got pickpocketed or robbed or whatever. And so you have like an intense fear of going to that place. Well, how many times does that actually happen at that place? Probably like once, maybe once a year. If it's a worse neighborhood, maybe once every 10 years. So it's like you have to sit there and go, I'm not going to not go to the movie theater because somebody acted up. The chances of that happening again are like pretty low. So that leads over into anything that you have from past relationships, past traumas. You kind of like really got to face that sort of thing so that it doesn't become a driving force in your life that's going to have such a negative influence.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Hold on. And, my dog's hips. 1 sec. I'm sorry. I can hear you.
That's okay. I was
good.
Yeah. I'll wait till you come back. I gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry. But I can wait. until you start doing readings, and then.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, sorry. Yuffie's hips went out and she started fumbling all over the place trying to correct herself. So
that's right. She's a sick dog, huh? Or is she? Or is it just because she's old?
She's 18, so she's in her 100 years. And at 100 years, you get a lot of health issues. It's like grandma, you know what I mean? If your grandma's 100, she's gonna have kidney disease and heart failure and dementia, and her hearing's going, her eyesight's going, and that's everything she's going through. So,
poor little.
It is what it is. She makes the best of it.
Yeah.
She's trying. She's still like in good spirits and is like gets excited about things and wants to go outside hipping hopping around, and she just also sleeps a lot.
Yeah. And then back to the questions. You're going to be doing readings tonight. Let me see where I left off here. You're going to be doing readings tonight, and are there any particular cards or archetypes that seem to show up more often around this time of year?
Sometimes Judgment, the Tower card, and the Death card. The Tower card, I'm also trying to reframe people's ideas around the Tower card and the Death card. Like, yes, the Tower card is a destructive moment in your life. Mostly, it's for something you needed to get rid of, right? So, a toxic job, a toxic relationship, things that you are too afraid to clear out yourself. The universe is at some point going to come in and go, you know what? We're sick of this. You deserve to be on a different path. So we're just going to make this like really big destructive moment to clear this out. And you're going to build yourself a new tower, And same with death. It's a death of a situation, but in every tarot card, there's like an open door or an archway or something behind death. Because like this thing is dying. It doesn't actually mean physical death. Occasionally it can, that, somebody that is going to die, but that's very rare. Usually it's a death of a situation because there's something like right there behind you that you need to pay attention to go get. So like those come up a lot. Other major archetypes I think would be like the Empress and the Emperor, trying to get it into your God power, like your greatest being and self. I saw that comment. I feel like I need a vacay from the shadow work, planting seeds for healing and hope. Absolutely. And if you need to take a break from your shadow work, set that aside for a little bit. By all means, like don't drive yourself crazy thinking like, I need to clear this out right now. Sometimes, like when you're trying to scrape paint off an old wall, you got to let the cleaner sit a while before you can go back to it. You know what I mean? You put that paint thinner on there. It doesn't automatically scrape up. Sometimes you got to let that sit, hang out, maybe clean it with some soap and water and then get back out to it again, So you don't have to clear everything out. It's not ever a one and done situation. So, definitely take your time on that.
Yeah. And should we start the readings? Would you like to start? Okay, so Absolutely. If anybody wants a reading, put your name in the chat, and you guys can donate. I'll put the links in the description to donate, and that it would be helpful, and you don't have to donate though to get a reading. You could just get a reading, but I like to give the psychic something when they come off. So, it's like an energy exchange. So, any particular deck you're going to use tonight, or?
So today I have Everyday Witch, which I work with a lot. And I did get out my Halloween deck, which is a fun little deck. So it's like pumpkins instead of coins, or pentacles. There's also coins. There's bats instead of wands. I think staves might still also be staves. There's a two of imps. Pumpkins, bats, imps, and ghosts. So I do have the book here just because if I look at it, I'm like, is an imp a wand or is it imp? That sort of thing. It kind of trips me up. But it's a really fun deck, especially for this time of year.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Do you want to start off with me, and then that'll give people an example of how you do the readings, and then and that'll give some time for people to come in, and that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Do you have a specific question? Or you want a generalized reading?
Generalized reading, whatever comes up to you.
Okay.
And OHMMER. He says, do I have to believe in aliens to get a real insight into the reading? He says, I'm skeptical about all the different alien races. You can be skeptical. It's okay. You don't have to believe in anything to get a reading.
No, and I don't work with aliens, so you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, we have the Hermit, the Chariot, and Temperance. So the Hermit is very much about being by yourself, taking time for you. With it being in this first place position, it may be that you have been doing a lot of isolating, a lot of self-reflecting. So it's recognizing that and saying that there might be a little bit more that you need to do. The second one is the Chariot card. So you might need to get out and travel a little bit more. With it being paired with the Hermit, you've been doing a lot of just being by you, and you're home being in a podcast a lot. You are isolated a lot. You did recently travel, but it might be time that you start trying to do things outside of the house. Possibly doing the ghost
Wait,
stuff.
you're cutting out, Pat. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to. You started cutting out there for a second.
No problem. Where did you?
You said you acknowledged that I did travel, and then you were like, but you might need to, and then it cut out.
So you might need to travel a little bit more. You may need to maybe not just traveling for pleasure, but maybe mixing it with business. I know you had wanted to do some spooky places, try to get the live stream podcast out in a couple of different places. So maybe it's time to do that, or get some sort of a filming equipment so that you can film and in location, and then maybe edit and post it, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
because
that's
Temperance, it's a not as easy as it sounds, right? Because I know just with my editing, it's for the few long content things I have on YouTube have taken me forever. Temperance with this is about finding that balance, about learning, and about growing. So I think with this that there may be some channeling, or not channeling, there may be some traveling in your future where you're really going to find like a new balance. But I do think that this is maybe saying that you need to find a balance between inside and outside home life. Because I think it will be prosperous for you.
Yeah, that's cool. That was a great reading. And if anybody else would like a reading, put your name in the chat. And let me see here. Yeah, we'll just that was a great reading though. Yeah, I'm gonna take your advice on that stuff. For sure.
Because even if you get like a GoPro, or like one of those little magnet mics, because you can film off your phone. You don't need a huge setup. They have wonderful little lightweight tripod stands now for your phone, and it might be something you can look into.
Yeah, and yeah, guys, you guys can call in too if anybody would like to call in. The phone number is 573-877-7637, and you can get a reading over the phone, or you can put your question in the chat, and you can get a reading in the chat. Maybe people are just shy tonight or something, so
Don't be shy. It's just a 3-card reading. I'm not doing massive readings. So if you just want something generalized, you don't have a specific question, but maybe something that the universe wants to say to you, or your ancestors want to say to you, definitely just say that you want a general.
Disturbed Jellyfish says he'd like one, but he's not on. He's on YouTube. He says LOL. So I don't know if he means she wants a reading or.
I can give you a reading. That's not a problem. It doesn't matter that you're on YouTube. I mean, you're listening.
She says General Rebecca Williams. I was waiting for someone else to get a reading because I got to pee so bad. I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back. But if you want to do her real quick, and then I'll be
absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna do Disturbed Jellyfish first. I know they said they're on YouTube, but that shouldn't much matter. So I generally, when I do card readings, I go with what pops out. So this one actually 4 popped out. So we have the 8 of Pentacles, which is usually about business and prosperity, typically having your own business. So if there is something that you were looking to start, maybe new job, maybe starting your own business, maybe starting your own apothecary, because then the next card that came out was the 10 of Pentacles, which is very much about prosperity. These are things like this shows that you have grown kids, another smaller kid. There's a cat and a dog in here. So things that you have been working on and working towards for that prosperity are going to start coming to fruition. The next card we have with it is the Page of Swords, which is somebody that's really ready for adventure. So that can go along and pair with that 8 of Pentacles. So if you are going to be, and it's having a childlike enthusiasm with it. So if you are going to be starting out on a new adventure with a career, definitely take it in stride and have that childlike enthusiasm with it, because in the end, you're going to really start seeing some prosperity. And then the last card is the 9 of Wands. So this one is coming up most likely because you feel like your back's against the wall. That might be with your current situation. Maybe you're having fears about starting out on that new adventure with your job. Maybe you're having some self-doubt, some imposter syndrome, but like the rest of the cards are saying, don't worry about that. Definitely take that leap.
I love that.
So that was jellyfish. Now let me go back
we
up.
Got some more people. We definitely got some more people. And let me see here.
Anchor Haven also asked for a general. And then Maylene is after that.
Yeah. Anchor Haven's one of my moderators. She's really cool. She's been following for a long time, and she has her own channel. She's real witchy herself, you know. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have my camera on. She's a man.
It's okay. Happens when you're like in a rush to get back. Ooh, things are a little jumpy today. All right. Oh, so this is interesting. We have the Star. I really like this Star card. It's very pretty. We have the Star, the Tower, and then the Hangman. Remember I said about those Tower moments? So with the Star, I think, okay, with these 3 together. So we have that Tower moment and the Hangman. The Hangman is very much... in this card, you'll see that he's upside down, but in his hand is the key. He's just biding his time. Somebody has hung him there. Somebody's locked him up. But he has the resources and the tool to get out of it. And not only did they do a poor job of hanging him upside down because it's a broom stuck between 2 trees, all he has to do is just kind of wait for something to clear out. And that might be that Tower moment. So there may be something going on within your life that is just biding its time to really clear out and give you that Star moment where things are going to start aligning in the universe. They're going to start coming out of the shadows and start really lighting up the night sky. I think that there may be something coming that might be a little more destructive in your life. But if you're prepared and you look at the situation, like you have the tools to get out of it. You have the tools to overcome it pretty easily. And if you view it as a clearing out moment, say it's a not good relationship. You know, relationships are not easy. Even if it's a very toxic relationship, emotionally, you're still going to feel heartbroken. You spent time with that person, you know, you put effort into things. It didn't work out. They didn't treat you the way you wanted to be treated. But so it still needed to go, though. And it's still going to be an emotional situation. But hopefully knowing this, even if it's a job, personal, other relationships, knowing that you have the ability to overcome it pretty easily and start shining on the other side might get you going to make it so it's not a traumatic experience and it's very much a learning lesson for you, like pretty early on.
That's amazing. And she says she just responded to you. She said, always the tower. She says, I'm a walking tower moment. She says, that's awesome. And then she says, I hope so, Kat. My vision is starting up again, she says. And she says, nice, thank you.
Do I remember I pulled a tower card for her last time?
Maybe.
She was in here.
You know?
I'm pretty sure she was in here last time and I did a reading the last time. And I feel like it was either a tower moment or there was a lot of swords going on.
Hey, Julia has a lot of super stuff going on.
You know? Yes. Yeah. Okay, I am remembering right. Yep. So whatever's going on, if it's still going on from the last time and we're still working through that, you got it. Like, it's going to get freaking better. It's going to get a lot freaking better. And you're going to look back on this time and go, huh. I believe Millie was next.
Yeah. Mellie, yeah. And she just said she'd like a general. And
okay.
These are really good readings tonight, by the way, Kat. I think you're doing really well.
Thank you. There we go.
Do you when the cards pop out, do you use those as, like, if you're shuffling them and they pop out, do you kind of do that like people do? You know what I mean?
Yep, that's the ones that I use. Yep. And if they really jump, then those are the ones that I emphasize on. So during yours and during Anchor's, I had one jump out of the deck and onto the ground. And so that was the one that I was like really talking about.
Which one jumped on mine? I'm curious. Do you remember?
The Chariot.
Wow. And what's that mean? What's that?
The Chariot's travel.
Okay, so I need to travel.
Traveling and moving forward.
I had so much fun when I went on that trip. I went on that bus trip, and like, you know, a lot of people wouldn't like traveling on a bus, but I thought it was awesome because I got to like see.
I like buses and trains. It's like you get to sit there, have somebody else drive, and see the landscape.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I had 2 4-hour layovers in Chicago, so I got to walk around Chicago and like stuff like that. It was dope. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you got like day trips.
There's nothing about it, but I mean, like Chicago was dope. You know, I wish I could have had my whole vacation in Chicago. I want to go back there, by the way. You know, Chicago is like 2 times the size of our city. Like Chicago, like when you see it, it looks enormous and it's all surrounding and stuff. Whereas like Pittsburgh, like I love Pittsburgh. Don't get me wrong, I love it here, but like
it's,
you know,
Chicago, smaller city.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting for sure.
I've only ever been into Chicago. I didn't get to ever spend time there. It was where I would fly in to get to my grandparents' house when they were still alive in Illinois. So I was there at the O'Hare Airport with their. We used to joke smoking rooms, the opium dens. I don't think they have the smoking rooms anymore, but they were just like enclosed rooms that they had ventilation. And you went in there and stayed inside the airport to smoke. And you didn't even have to light up. Like if you just went in there and took a couple deep breaths, you were good. You got all your nicotine you needed and you left. You smelled like you were in a bar all night after 5 minutes in there. So I was like, we always joked and called them the opium dens because it just was like that much smoke lingering around.
Yeah, you know, like, well, my impression was that like Chicago was a city, but I didn't think it was that big, and I was always like under the impression that like the East Coast was like the mecca for big cities, like, you know, like you got like Pittsburgh, New York, Boston, you know what I mean, like even down south, some big cities and stuff like that. So I was really surprised, you know. It's like, I don't know.
Detroit and Chicago are both huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Detroit has a big city too?
Yes. Yeah, Detroit
is it real ghetto though, or what's it like? I heard Detroit's like.
I mean, it has ghetto parts. It's similar to Pittsburgh in the fact that the industry that was there collapsed, and so a lot of the richer people moved out, and it stayed lower and middle class. So it still has a lot of nice areas. there are still upscale areas. But the majority of the people that were working in the automobile factories that got outsourced to other countries for cheaper labor, they moved and went and found other work elsewhere because they're like, well, I'm not going to go from making, equivalent of $36 an hour down to like working at a repair shop or something, for a quarter of that. And even if they did stay and they did do that, then they're making a quarter of what they made previously. So then they don't have that money to put back. They have started bringing tech into that area and other industries. There's still nice areas. There's still upscale restaurants, but there's a lot of areas similar to Pittsburgh that the buildings have just been left to rot. So there's fire hazards and things. Yeah.
I just want to answer one question real quick. Kitsalao says, does Rob have enough people for next month? Kitsalao, I do need people for next month. If you want to email me ideas, typicalskeptic1@gmail.com. I haven't even started booking anybody yet. I'm really bad on that. And it's been a rough month too. So I just, but I am going to get on that. So yeah, but sorry, I'll let you go ahead with Melly. Sorry.
That's okay. So we got the Eight of Wands, the World, and the Star. The Eight of Wands is one of those situations where you may have caused a little stir in the pot. Because if you see, it is her magic that's causing this tornado. So there might have been something going on recently that really might not have been solely your fault. Like you might not have completely did everything in the situation, but it might be a situation that it's really up to you to control. Because the witch in this has the ability to control that tornado, but she's also doubting her ability to control the tornado. So if something's going on, a living situation, something with a job, even though I don't really feel like it's a job. I feel like it's more of like a personal thing, that you might be having some sort of chaos going on in your life. That's a very personal, even if like you didn't stir the pot, it might just be something you need to handle. This is a personal journey. No one else can help you with this. This is something you have to work through and learn your ability. Take hold of your power and believe that you can and get rid of that self-doubt, because we got the World. She's having that Mary Tyler Moore moment, dating myself, where she's throwing her hat into the air. Everything is amazing. Everything is working out. And if you come into your power and go, okay, I can handle this. I'm not going to wait for anybody else to save me. This is something I have the capability of doing. I just need to try a little harder, or look at a different resource, or look at a different way of doing this so that I can fix this. You're going to end up really coming into it and really having a great time. Like, regardless of what it is, but there's something sitting there that is causing an upset in your life that, you really need to try to figure out. And then, unfortunately, there's not going to be a knight in shining armor. You may have to, if it is job related or something financial or in the home, you might have to pick up a second job just temporarily. Maybe do some DoorDash or Grubhubbing or something to get that like extra money in your pocket. Oh, I'm sorry. And then we also have the Star that comes with that glowing light. I'll show it again. I just like this Star card's very, very pretty. Are you going to focus? Don't focus on my face in the background. No, we'll just keep it back here so you get an overall view. But where it's that coming out of the darkness, going into the light, and really illuminating that night sky and getting into your power. Like, you have that ability to shine so bright that you light up the night. And you just have to figure out where that doubt's coming from, own it, and go, I have the power to fix this. I can do this. And then you are going to have an amazing time afterwards. It is going to get resolved. You're not going to have that problem anymore, and you're going to be a hell of a lot better for it. Do I have food at the event today, Jason? Oh, I was like, what? Can you do my reading, please? Ooh, Mr. Peak is in the chat with wanting a reading. Was there anybody else above that between Melly and Mr. Peak?
We got one here for Farhan. What I was saying is Jason went to an event today. I think he went to a THC event out there in Chicago where he lives. And that's what, I think Selena was asked. They date, Selena and Jason.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Cool.
But so Farhan was up, and then I think he said he'd like a good shuffle.
A good shuffle. All right. I mean, I will shuffle, and whatever the ancestors pop out, they will. All right. And then we got Linda, and I just want to make sure and see where Mr. Peak is. Mr. Peak's my art buddy. Farhan's my friend as well.
Okay, I'm sure.
So,
is he? I can write him down. So we got Linda, and then Mr. Peak, and then who? Anybody? So these all. I'll get it. I'll make sure I get it.
Okay. He had 4 cards come out. So we got 3 of Cups, which is kind of a group prosperity thing. So if you have, a lot of times it represents a gathering of women or a group event. Typically, like a lot of times it's with friends or family or even coworkers that it's going to be coming together. Let me see how this fits into this, because we also have the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords represents an older, very dominant female figure in your life. It can represent like a more feminine side of you, but typically it represents an older woman in your life. So we have that coming together. Then we have the Knight of Cups, which is a younger man in love. It's a very emotional card. It has to do with, because in this card, in the card, so we have all the love and bubbles on the top, and then there are sharks underneath. But like, he doesn't really care. Like, he doesn't see the haters down here. He's just like, nope, I'm going to do what I want. This thing makes me happy. It makes me healthy. And I'm just going to stay above that dangerous water, right? And then the last card that came out is the Nine of Cups, which is a very much at peace with yourself sort of thing. So Cups is the emotional side of things, where Swords is also emotional, but they're more of the heavier emotions, with heartbreak and betrayal and having like a stern personality, where Cups is, it can be betrayal and it can be heartache, but it's normally like a more self-inflicted sort of thing. Like you're crying over spilled milk, like with, I think it's the 7 of Cups. Now I'm not remembering right off the top of my head. But with the 9 of Cups, you have everything set up behind you to where it's all going right in the world. You're able to take in the surrounding area and just enjoy what you have and be at peace with it. So the Knight, I think I called it the Page of Cups earlier, but it's the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups could represent you. It could represent also another younger person, a younger male in your life. There's going to be a working together situation where you may have to be going on an adventure with an older woman, whether she is a mentor, whether she ends up being more of a mother figure or a lover, because of that Knight of Cups. But knights and pages are normally like, there's a lot of adventuring going on, a bit of a journey. But in the end, it looks like it's gonna work out. I'm gonna get clarity though on that Three of Cups, because that is normally a group effort, really working out kind of situation. Yeah, it gave me the Page of Wands, which is, again, like, there's going to be a journey. So this cat is acting as pretty much like the spirit guide for the page in this, and he's like, we're going this way, and the cat's like, yeah, I think maybe we need to go back the other way. So there might be a bit of a journey that you're going on emotionally, but really just stay on your path. Maybe take some advice from friends, and work together with them regarding it. Or maybe a friend group will start getting a little more. Maybe there's a friend group coming up that you might meet a person. Yeah, but it does look like there's going to be a little bit of a journey that's going on. And possibly look out for an older woman to be part of that journey. So that's that one.
I love that. That was great. I lost my place in the chat. I'm trying to find Linda.
Linda?
It keeps jumping around. It's like a targeted chat.
My hand sanitizer.
Okay, that was. I see where that was. Now, there we have the Andromedan too. Should I do the Andromedan real quick, or should we do the Andromedan real quick until I find? Or well, I'm trying to find my place. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Here's Linda Wagner. I'm gonna pick, but I can't find your friend. I mean, if you want to do your friend first, then we can do. I just can't find his avatar.
Well, there's Linda. Chat. Who?
Mr. Would you call him Mr.
Enrique Peak?
Enrique. Oh, it's Enrique. Okay, yeah, okay, I see him in here. Okay, I got it. Sorry. Okay, yeah, because okay, so we'll do Linda first, and then we'll get on. I'm just going down the line, and if anybody donates, I'll get to you. Or if you donate or call in, I'll get to your reading first. But like otherwise, I'm just kind of going down the line with however you guys requested them. It's getting cold out your way. It's getting really cold here at night. It's like really. It's like almost like we're gonna get an early winter.
Yeah, it smells like frost today.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a frost tonight, because I went to the store around 5, and as soon as I stepped out of the store, it smelled like frost, and I was like, "Yep, we are gonna be getting frost tonight."
I walked up to the corner store last night, and I wore like an Adidas pullover. Then I had a hoodie over top of that. It was so cold. You know what I mean? Because I always go out and I walk around and smoke a joint at night. And like I like to go out and smoke weed, and because I can't smoke it in my apartment. But I mean, it was freezing. It was really cold. I had to literally wear double layers, and it's not even November yet. Yeah, it's like
I can't smoke in my apartment either, so I feel you. Like I usually just have a blinker.
You like weed? I can't remember asking you that. Do you like weed?
Yeah, I have my medical card.
Oh,
I use it
so you get the
for
good
my
shit.
stomach. Yeah.
Man, I gotta hang out with you. I didn't know you get the good shit.
Yeah. I have it for my anxiety, but the doctor and I have spoken many times how it helps my gastroparesis.
Yeah.
And they collect data, about like if it's helping with other things as well. And I was like, absolutely, it gives me an appetite. I mean, that way
Yeah.
I like if I haven't eaten by like 5 o'clock, I'm like, well, I'm not really hungry, but maybe if I take a couple of hits and not get like super, because if I get way too high, I get the munchies, and that's never a good thing with a paralyzed stomach. I can't overeat.
Well, I was gonna say, is it hard living with that gastroparesis? Like,
It's become a lot more manageable. We found a couple of medications that relieve a lot of the pain and bloating that comes along with it.
Yeah.
And the medical marijuana definitely helps take the edge off. So if I'm like my stomach decides it wants to go into spasms for no reason whatsoever, a couple of hits will like make it calm down and start behaving.
Yeah. You kind of. I'm sorry. You cut out there again. I think it's something. Now that I can hear you.
It might be like, I don't know. There's been a lot of internet issues in my area. It's like on my Ring app, everybody's keeps going, hey, is everybody's Xfinity out? Is it just in Zone 5 that Xfinity is out? And so it's probably my internet. I'm gonna be so for real.
Yeah. By the way, Farhan said that was amazing. He said that was amazing. He said he's looking forward to that journey, and he says thank you.
You're very welcome. So Linda, we got the World, Death, and the Eight of Pentacles. This is actually a really good reading. Very happy reading. None of them are bad readings, right? Because we still need to do things that are in the learning process. So we got that World, which again is that Mary Tyler Moore moment where you're just like absolutely loving life. But we have Death, but it is then followed by the Eight of Pentacles. So like I said before, with Death, you see that door? So we have like a death of a situation, but there's an opportunity that is open in the background. You may have seen it. You may not be aware of it. You may want to be aware of it. And then the Eight of Pentacles typically is with you living your best life in whatever craft you're doing. So if you wanted to start your own business, if you wanted to become a partner in a business, if you're looking to grow yourself and maybe go back to school, maybe now's time to like cut ties with a job that is not serving you. Because I really feel like this is financial based. Maybe you're retiring or coming up to like a point in the job where it's become so stagnated and you're like, you know what? I'm bored with this. Let me do something else. Or let me maybe have a side hustle. So maybe you have a job that you're like, oh, it gets me through. It's a 9 to 5, but it's not absolutely terrible, but I'm bored out of my mind. Maybe start a side hustle. Get a little business going, something that'll get an extra coin in your pocket, something that brings you joy to make. Because that Eight of Pentacles is also like you working with your hands and making your dreams come to fruition. So it'll really like bring that together. But you got to look for that moment that it's going to be the death of something, but the opening of another thing. And I really just think with this World card, you're going to have a good time doing it. You know, whatever it is. I don't think that there's going to be a tower that like, I know there's not going to be a tower moment before that. So if you are looking to kind of like you're retiring from a 40-year banking job. Okay. So if there's, so you have retired and maybe you're growing a little bored. Maybe you want to start working at a shop or picking up maybe some part-time stuff in something that you wanted to do, like not just anywhere and being like, oh, I could work at Sheets. No, if you wanted to work in a witch shop, I mean, start applying for that. If you wanted to work in a crystal shop, or if you wanted to be like, you know what, I always wanted to work at Macy's. because I love Macy's and I want that discount. Do it. You know, like find something that is going to bring you joy. And if you don't need the money because you're already gotten into retirement, paycheck, do something that just is absolutely for your joy and entertainment. You don't have to do it for financial reasons. It's purely about self-satisfaction and just like getting you, getting that part of you to be a little bit happier.
I love that. That was great for and when we go to Enrique, we'll go to Enrique from your chat, Enrique Peak, and then we'll do Andromeda next. I think I might have missed Andromeda, but that's okay. I wanted to get your friend, because we kind of told them we would do that order. So yeah, but yeah. So Andromeda, you'll be next.
I might have missed Andromeda, so my apologies if I missed you when I was scrolling. We'll get you next.
It's okay. It's okay. He's cool. He's here every show almost. So he'll be cool. He's a good guy. Yeah, he's actually the Andromeda is interesting. He's actually an Iraq refugee. He's living over in like Sweden or Switzerland or something like that. It's
that's a hell of a move.
Yeah.
Sweden. What's that like? That is one country I have not been to. Now, I haven't been to a ton of countries, honestly.
I think they were one of the countries that was like neutral in like World War II, Sweden and Switzerland or something. And they're, they have the Swiss banks over there. They have all the money in the world, like they.
Where's the Hadron Collider? Is that Sweden?
The Hadron Collider is in, oh shit. Where guys, tell me in the chat.
Sound off in the chat.
Hadron Collider at? Well, supposedly, like if you get deep into conspiracy theories, supposedly there's multiple Hadron Colliders, and like they're not telling us about them, and they're but that's who
wants that big of a thing where they're like clashing together atoms and protons underneath your cities and causing miniature black holes. I don't think a lot of people were actually okay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me just make a black hole.
They have a statue of Shiva outside in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the opening ceremony for that? That was crazy.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
It was very much into their folklore, I think so.
Do you think that was like something satanic or something, or from you, someone knowing about occult practices, do you think it was dark?
It was kind of dark, but their folklore is kind of dark. They're one of those countries that experience a lot more darker months, Yeah. So, and typically in a lot of colder climates where the months, they don't get as much time in the sun, their folklore tends to be on the darker side because that's what they know. There's a lot more death. There's a lot more dangers out in the woods. So that kind of wraps around it. I don't think it was satanic. I'm pretty sure I started reading a little bit into the folklore. I can't quote anything because that was so long ago that happened. And I haven't like reread up on their folklore. But there was things in it that had tied into, things from their past.
That's cool. That's interesting. People are chat are asking where would we go first? Where would people go first if they went to travel the world? I think I would go. If you ask me, I would go to Brazil. One of the places I would go first is Brazil and South America. Then I would go to like Italy, Spain, like the Mediterranean area. Like I'd go to Lebanon, Greece. That would be, Egypt definitely. I don't know. Those are some of the places I would want to see. I hope I get to do Japan. It. What's that?
So I said I'm going to be going to Japan.
Wow, that's cool.
In the next 2 years, because maybe kind of. It's depending on my dog. Me and my sister have made plans. We've saved money. We've tracked out everything, but we're not going to go until after my dog passes. because I can't in right like good conscience go, here's my 100-and-something-year-old dog. She might die while I'm gone. She has separation anxiety, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Like I can't do that to her, and I can't do that to the person, So
Yeah.
my traveling plans are waiting until she passes, but we have that set up, and I'm very much looking forward to going to Japan. We're going to be mostly seeing shrines and temples. We are going to Ghibli Studios and Tokyo, but those we're only spending like a day or two, and then the rest of the time hitting all of the places. There's a cat shrine there. We want to send a letter to our kitties that have passed. You can send letters there.
Wow.
So Mr. Peak, we got the Two of Cups, which so you have two people there. It's very similar to the Lover's card, but it can also be a business transaction, or it can be both. So if you have a partner that very much supports you and you support her in like y'all's growth within your businesses, within your careers, that's a good representation of it. So paired with that, we have the 10 of Wands, which is about carrying your burdens or carrying somebody else's burdens. Like, are you carrying too many burdens that are not your own? Like maybe you need to put down some sticks. So with those two being together, I think you very much have somebody in your life that can support you, that can be with you. But there may be some other things going on that you might not need to help anybody with. And you had that conversation earlier when we were in live. Just saying, you asked chat, you were like, should I help him out? I'm thinking maybe you need to put down somebody else's sticks. Just saying. And then the Hangman. So we got that card where there is something going on that you could possibly feel trapped in your situation, but you don't need to be, because you have the tools, you have the abilities, you have the skills to get out of the situation that has you hanging upside down. You just got to let go of somebody else's burdens. Like if there's somebody else that's holding you back because of their nonsense, but then you have somebody also that's on your side that's willing to support you and bring you that sunset on the beach kind of moment, like maybe relook at that. Go, okay, I might be in this situation right now, and I have, say, like a homeboy or an ex or somebody that's here just pressing their weight down on me while I have somebody else over here that's uplifting me. Maybe it's just time to put some blockages up, build a little bit of a boundary wall, and be like, listen, I can only give you the overflow. My cup is mine. Like I can't spill my cup into yours. I can't help you. I need to put down your burdens, get out of that situation, and move forward to that much better, brighter future with a partner, whether that is your wonderful partner, or if it's, I was just thinking about her snoring last night on the live, which was very endearing, or if it's like a business partner. Maybe you're going to come across somebody that will be able to financially help you out or give you a break, like give you that break, but you're also going to have to be like, that could be it too. You may be coming across somebody that is going to be able to give you a break, and there might be somebody that ends up wanting a bit more from you than you can naturally bear. So, anytime that anybody comes up with money, if you have friends that are struggling, they are always expecting handouts. And you might have to, at that time, go, I have to get my stuff right. And like, if you weren't there supporting me, this burden is not mine. I can't help you dig out of a hole that you dug. So there may be that kind of situation going on. But I do see that there is something coming in with the future. Maybe look for a collaboration. Maybe, it's a combination of there's going to be a collaboration coming up. maybe it's your partner is going to be extra supportive in that collaboration, really pushing you forward to do your very best. But that's what I am seeing in the cards.
I love that. And guys, I'm about to put if it ever comes up, I'm about to put this Spreaker link in the chat, like, because they remonetized my podcast. Like, this is one of the ways, like, I pay my bills and stuff, guys. So, like, it's really easy. Like, if you can't donate on readings and you can't, support Rumble, some people say they can't get on Rumble and stuff like that. Just listen to the audio podcast, and you'll hear me promoting this a lot because they remonetize me. You know what I mean? So it's a big thing for me, and it's literally how I support myself. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put the link in the chat, and definitely, and what we could do one more reading.
We have Andromeda.
We got Matthew Morning coming on at 9, and
yep.
I'd love to have you back on more. I know we say we're always going to do more shows, but then we both get busy. But I definitely would love to have you back again, like, because this was really, everybody loved the readings tonight, and this was really good, honestly.
Absolutely. I know we had Andromeda to do, so we can do that.
Yeah, we'll do Andromeda, and I'm trying to find his avatar here. Andromeda, there he is. I see him. I'll get him. He says he would like to go back to his home world. He feels like he's from somewhere else, like, from the stars.
No, I understand that. That is not. I do not assist in interplanar travel, but maybe I can give you some insight. Ooh. Don't need the whole deck coming at me. There we are. Interesting. We have all Pentacles. So we got the Three of Pentacles, the King, and the Queen of Pentacles. So there's going to be a money situation happening, a good money situation. The Three of Pentacles is a group project. Everybody's doing their part to make this project come to fruition and working nicely. You're not bickering, you're not arguing. Everybody's doing their part and, like, really making things come together. And then we have the King and the Queen of Pentacles, which are very much like prosperous cards. Like, you see the King here. He's got a delicious chocolate cake. His cow has flowers around her. He's been able to have his throne there up on the hill so long that it's grown ivy, and his dog is very old. So it's like those making that good life for yourself, having the ability to relax, to not, like, be fearing battle, to know that you are secure in what you are doing. And then the Queen of Pentacles is very much about abundance. So we have, like, this herd of kittens down here. There's a whole chest of coin in the background. She's old, just like the King of Pentacles. So it's about steady money. You have that abundance. You have that stuff that's occurring. But it is going to be very much linked to, like, some sort of group project, something's going to happen that you're going to have to cooperate and make sure that you're doing your part. With that will come a huge abundance. This could also mean, like, some sort of inheritance, where, like, people are working together to try to split up the inheritance, and then you're getting that old money. Or if sometimes this sort of layout can come out with, like, stocks. I don't know if you deal in Bitcoin or stocks or anything like that, but letting something sit and letting it accrue so that later on it's going to be worth a whole hell of a lot. but it's sometimes with the pentacle cards can be tied into family as much as job, but it is usually very much coin based, because the pentacles can be represented as coins in a lot of decks, and they're always tied to financial situations. So even if you might not, I don't know if you are struggling. I don't feel like there's a lot of struggle going on in your life, but even if you are, that like there's going to be something happening. So keep an eye out with you working with people. I have a feeling it's family based. But it may be like family, like blood, instead of being like actual blood. To where you're going to be working with them together to have some sort of project, some sort of group happening that will, in the end, let you be bountiful enough that you can just enjoy life. And be able to save money, because like with the Queen of Pentacles, she has that chest behind her. Like she has enough that she can then start putting away, where they're not laden in gold. So they have golden things, like they have nice things, but they're not flashy people. It's not the other king that's represented by Cancer is a Cups, where he's much more flashier. These are very much about enjoying life, enjoying the creature comforts, and not being like so over the top and extravagant. So you'll probably get to like a really good place where you can start saving money. You can start maybe traveling a little bit, enjoying the fruits of your labor, because we got fruit trees in the Queen of Pentacles, and that takes like 10 years to grow. So the project you're doing may take time to grow. Maybe you're starting a new business. Maybe you're going into a business with somebody or into a new job. But in the end, it is going to be very beneficial for you. Here we go.
Well,
I hope
that was great. That was amazing. That was amazing. Well, dude, this was awesome. I really love this. And do you want to tell people how they can follow you? And thank you, Kat. This was awesome.
Absolutely. YouTube, Twitch, and Twitch too, but I rarely go on Twitch. YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. I am KatMonsterArts, all one word written together. Just as you see my name, KatMonster, on here. And then Veiled Artist, I am on Instagram. I've had that account since 2011 when Instagram started. I can't change it now. And I can't run more than one account. I have too much other stuff going on. But yeah, definitely give me a follow. I go live on TikTok pretty frequently. I'm going to be getting a laptop soon so I can start doing dual lives with YouTube and TikTok. Yesterday, I was on TikTok live painting for 7.5 hours.
Wow.
We do other fun things. I don't really do tarot card readings there, but if you ever pop into my live and you're like, hey, can I get a reading? I will stop doing art to do a reading. I love doing readings. I just don't advertise that I do readings. So this is the only place that I really do them besides friends and family. But by all means, come and say hi. I go live almost every night besides Saturdays and Sundays. I go in the afternoons instead of the evenings because the TT streets are busy, and I'd rather be there like hanging out in other people's lives. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to be able to get the YouTube going soon, so that I can dual stream with doing my art on there. And absolutely come through, ask some questions, follow me on any of the platforms, and I really hope to be able to connect with all of you.
Yeah, thank you. This was awesome. Yeah, and until next time. Oh yeah, guys, I have another live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Matthew Morning will be on, and he's going to do some readings too. But it's going to be more like a fun show. We're just going to talk about whatever, and he'll answer your questions, and we'll do live calls. And yeah, this was awesome, Kat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I had fun.
You're very welcome. I have D&D tonight, so I told my D&D team that I was going to be late so I could do the podcast.
Thank you. That's awesome. I hope D&D goes well, and I'll be talking to you soon. And send me your PayPal. I'll send you your Cash App or whatever. I'll send you something. And thank you.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.